Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Samsung Checkout, the optimal payment solution for smart TV. I appreciate for you all coming to my session. And my name is Hoseock, and I'm currently working for Samsung Checkout client team. And well, I'm glad that I can have a chance to introduce you what are the Samsung Checkout and why it is an optimal payment solution on the smart TV. Okay, before we go further, quick questions. Is there anyone who already know what is a Samsung Checkout? Great. Oh, at least we have 1, 2, 3. Great. That's good. Okay, so let's go. Well, in this session, we will discuss about what are the Samsung Checkout, and I will start talking about brief history and strengths of Samsung Checkout, and later on, I will introduce you how we have been improving our service. And after that, we will also talk about what are the benefits of using Samsung Checkout in your service, and then how it can be used to increase your service revenues. And after that, we will also talk about what are the Samsung Checkout and the process of implementations. And we will also have a Q&A session if you have any question to more. Okay? Let's start with the Samsung Checkout strengths. So Samsung Checkout has been the payment solutions since 2016 in the smart TV. And we have expanded our service country from up to the 68 countries worldwide. So we also have a plan to expand it more than 100 later this year. And we support 3 different payment methods until now. And first one is the credit card and debit card, and the PayPal, and Samsung Pay. So in case of Samsung Pay, well, user doesn't really need to register their payment method, so it could be easier for them to use, and it's more secure because they are using biometric information on mobile phone as well. And well, if you ask me who is using the Samsung Checkout then, well, we only provided for a few content partners until now, and we use this one for the O&O service that we have. For example, like a TV Plus or frame art stores and so on. And well, our core partner is HBO Now and Stars as well. So if you, and there is many different types of the product that you can sell with us. And the first one is like, well, in-app purchase. Is it possible? If you ask me, is it possible to do the in-app purchase? Of course, it is possible. That's a basic one. And if you ask me, is a subscription possible with Samsung Checkout? Yes, it is possible. We support weekly and monthly subscriptions available now. And later next year, then we are thinking to provide yearly subscription as well. And as you can see, the Samsung has been the #1 in the TV market in the last decade, and we think we are going to be the #1 in the next 10 more years. So I don't want to say that it's just a strength of Samsung, but it will be the bigger market for you guys if you participate as a partner. And the last one is about tax handling. Well, we are not paying a tax for you, but we will provide you the easier way of handling the tax, especially the US and the EU countries. So let's see more about how it can be useful for you, because I think if we provide an easier user experience, well, is there anyone who participated in the previous sessions? We were talking about the discovery services of the Samsung. So we talked about how easy it is to search for the user, to search the contents when they have joined Samsung Content Discovery service. So if you integrate Samsung Checkout together with the Contents Discovery service, then that will make a synergy. So we can say that your contents exposure rate will be significantly improved, so that it can, turns out that it can increase your revenue share. Revenues, not revenue share. And well, once the user select your service, just 2 more steps to complete their purchase process, so it's easy for them as well. And the next one is easy expansion of your service country. I told you that we are already supporting 68 countries worldwide. So with a bit of configuration in the DPI portal that we support in the checkout system, you can actually expand your service country right away within that boundary. And the good thing that for you about this one is that because we are following the regulations like PSD2 and GDPR, so your effort on customers' sensitive informations are very minimized because we are handling for you guys. And the easy promotions. We provide various different type of coupons, for example, free coupons and fixed rate and the fixed price. So if you want to promote your service, then there is many different possibilities that you can use. And you can even do the retail marketing with Samsung. So for example, well, if you want to do, you can collaborate with the Samsung that the customer can buy one TV and maybe they will have 6 months coupon for your service, something like this. So it's easy user experience, easy for the service expansions, and easy promotion, so why not using it? Let's see the details of what's good for you. And the service configuration overview. Well, here I want to introduce you a couple of things. First one is a DPI portal. DPI stands for the Digital Product Inventory, where you will spend your time to manage your product and configure your product for each country that your service needs to be provided. And from here, you will get the product list so that you can have those information to initiate the purchase. And the second one is checkout client. We provide the APIs, so user can initiate their purchase process from the checkout client, and it will be linked to the checkout server, and well, it will go to the payment gateway to request and get the result from purchase. So well, it will give you the response to you, and you will have those information to sync up to your service. And the last one, the third one, but the most important one is your applications. So you will get the product information from the DPI portal, and with using that information, you will buy. You will call the buy item API to initiate your purchase. And after you have user complete their purchase process, and you will sync up the result to your service. And the last one is web portal. Well, there are some people who still think that entering the digit numbers or the alphabet is still not as favorable to them as using smartphone or PC. So we provide a solution for them. So it's for their convenience. They can go to the website, to the web portal, and they can do the management of their subscription status, and they can also see the purchase history, and they can even do the payment registration for them. Okay, so we saw what we have. There are 3 key things that you need to remember from this slide. One of those are DPI site, and the other one is checkout client, and the last one is you, because you are in the center of all those things. Okay, let's remember the name of those 3 things, because we will mention it later on again. Right, the step 2 integrations. We have 4 steps to complete before you launch your service, and the first one, the last one is management of your service. So the core steps for you when you are doing the implementation is all from first the step 1 to 3. Let's say you are due for the smart TV platform, and then the first place that you need to visit is a Samsung seller office. Well, what you can do from the Samsung seller office is that you need to generate your app ID, and but before that, you actually need to build up your organization and create the account as a manager and as a software developer. So we provide a different permission for a different account. For example, if you are using the manager account, then you may need to do the management of your service. So you need to get the approval for each step, and you also need to make sure that you fill out the information like category rating and app titles, and especially about the seller information, right? And if you are using the developer account, then you may have free access to the staging zone system. But when you want to release your application to the real market operating zones, then you need to co-work with your manager that it's happening really. Well, for because I said there is 3 different approval need to be done, and the first one is application approval, and the second one is DPI access approval, and the last one is product registration approval for the US market. Well, in case of staging zone, any of those approval will be done automatically within 2 days. But if it is operating zones in the real market, then you need to actually get those approval before you launch your service. So you need to make sure that it's done properly before that. Okay, so you finish the configuration in the seller office, and you check out. You tick to use Samsung Checkout. Then the next step is implementing your application. So you go to the Samsung developer website and download the SDK. And if you start implementing, and you finish the one, and the last one is the third step in the submit your application and get the quality assurance testing. Well, in this stage, you need to remember the things like productions. You need to make sure that DPI configuration is done in the both staging and the operating zones, because we will not give you time or a chance to modify your application during the time of the quality assurance testing. Okay, the last one is the management of your service. I will have more time to explain about this one in the later page, so we will move on. Right, the first step, as I said, the first place that you need to visit is the seller office. Let's see what you really need to do in here. Well, as I said, the first one, you need to do is generate the ID, app ID from here, and make sure that you connect your service with the DPI portal, because you want to configure your product and product for each country as well. So to do that, you need to upload a sample application maybe for the first time, because you need to have app ID, which will be linked to the DPI portal. And the next thing you need to do is agreeing the terms and conditions, because you need to read it totally, because you will have information like revenue share between you and Samsung. And please remember that although the development of API integration doesn't really need those kind of process maybe, but if you want to really do it and see those things working on the Samsung Smart TV on the real market, those things really need to be done. And let me elaborate a bit further about the activity that you need to do in the DPI portal. As I said, getting the approval for such things and reviewing service is needed, but the last one is also important, issuance of the security key. Well, you will need a security key when you implement your application with integration with the APIs. You will encrypt your data to pass on to the API, so that and so it's something that you must remember if you are the developer. Right? And well, you know what you need to do with the DPI portal, and the next one is what are the APIs that you need to implement. I will show you the sequence of the APIs when you need to use each what, but first one, I want to tell you what are the APIs for which purpose. And the first one is by item. This API is a built-in API that you can use, and you can use it to initiate the purchase process. And the second one is requesting the product for sales. You remember that you registered and managed the product list for each country from the DPI portal, right? So once you finish that one, you need to use it. So this API is the one that you can get the product list from the DPI portal. And after that, requesting user purchase list is the last one. Well, you think about it. You got the product list, and you started the purchase process, and the last one is you need to apply the result to your service. So with the requesting the purchase list, you can get the invoice list for the user that who have purchased what product in your service. So after you got this one, and you synchronize those information to your service. And the last three is the optional APIs that it's for the convenience of to check whether when you are managing the item status or subscription statuses. So I recommend you to go to the developer website and see how it works. Well, I will introduce you about the developer side later on. Let's see the sequence of it. Well, here are the sequence of what API to use when, as I explained before. Well, first one is getting the product information and the purchasing and synchronizing the purchase result. We provide 3 different ways to get the product information. The first one you can use, well, let's assume that you have application server, applications client side, and the first way is synchronize the product list information from checkout server to your server, and synchronize those information from your server to your application. That's one way. And the other one is you can use the built-in API that we provide from the Samsung Checkout client. And the last one is you can also use REST API directly from your client application to Checkout server. So those are the 3 options. And you can use these 3 different options based on your user experience, because you have, customers have many different user experience, so we provide 3 different ones. And we have one separate page for the purchasing process. So I will just tell you that after you got the information from the DPI portal, that you can use those information to make up parameters and call the by item API for this. And the last one, user purchase list is the one that you can use to synchronize the purchase result. And we also provide the 2 things. And for the first one, you will get, if you call the built-in APIs for the same one, you can get the purchase results from your application client. And the second one is you can also call it with a REST API as well. So your server will directly call our server to get those results. Okay. The results will be same. Those API, the function of the APIs are same, so the results will be the same, and this one as well. Let's see a purchase process a bit closer. Well, after you got all the product lists, you may call buy item to start purchase process. And here, one thing that you need to remember is don't change the display when you are calling it. So make sure that you call buy item API, then the loading and the rest of the purchase process will be done by the Samsung Checkout client. So, and it's same for the post action as well. If you get the result of the purchase, make sure that there is no graphical distortions on your site and synchronize the result of the purchase to your service. We're trying to be very simple as possible to user, and because all these are happening on TV, and the user interaction must be simple and easy. Well, actually, I will show you how it works in the last session of last slide of the session, so you can see it in the real environment. Okay, step 3. When you are submitting your applications and getting the QA, there are a few things that you need to remember. First one is inputting test information. Well, because there are various different service content providers, we need to know what are the basic features for you and how we can find where you are integrating our checkout API. So selecting the target model groups for the TV is one thing, and release request date is also the one that you need to provide. And entering the detailed information about your service is the last one. And the pre-test and the preview will be done automatically when you upload your applications to release, or when you are submitting your applications. So it will not take a long time. But the testing itself will take 5 working days. So we will check your information, logic and build, and product capability. And once you pass your test, well, application will be moved from the staging to the operating zone. One thing that you need to remember is because we are not allowing you to modify your code during the testing, so you need to make sure that you have completed your implementations before you submit your application. I recommend you to read at least one time the Samsung checkout FAQ page we provide in the Samsung developer site, and because we will provide you the checklist, the checklist which will say what is need to be done and what should be the one that you need to remember before you submit your application. So go to the website and find the Samsung checkout webpage, FAQ webpage. Right. Well, so if you come to this far, then the most difficult part is done for the implementation. And when you manage your service, some DPI's portal will provide you almost every function that you need to use to manage your service. So first one is, you can create product, of course, and manage. And you can also issue the coupons for the management. And you can see the transaction management, like a refund, and maybe you can cancel subscription as well if you are doing in the subscription base. And you can also check the sales status by product or country. And we provide the monthly sales report as well, so you can see that one. Right. And the last one, developer guide. If you go to this link, developer.samsung.com, then you can search for the Samsung checkout, and there is 3 different menus: implementing the purchase process, Samsung checkout DPI portal, Samsung checkout service FAQ. Well, you can also find a sample code for those, which will be linked to the GitHub, that we provide a sample code for you to refer to. And to tell you about the developer guide, well, the first 2 was introduced about a couple of years ago, and we thought, we provided the perfect guide for most of the contents partner, but we realized after the round of meeting with the partners that, they may need more information. So we added Samsung Checkout Service FAQ, and well, I think then maybe you may want to have more information than these. I think it's possible. So if you find anything that you want to add more, and you think there is something that you can facilitate the speed of integration for your service, then just feel free to ask me to add what it is, or whatever it is, for the improvement. Okay, so let's see how it works. Well, I prepared 3 different videos today, and the first one is 2-step purchase, simple purchase. And let's see. Well, this is a frame store. User buying 1 picture from there. They enter. They show you the details of purchase, and once they press the 4 digits for the PIN code, then it's complete of purchase. They said it. That's it. And the second one is using coupons. I mentioned that you can use the coupons for your promotions. And let's see how user can use the coupon. It's the same, but you can see that there is a drop-down. Well, it's actually automatically selected when you enter the Samsung Checkout client. So the user doesn't really need to do more. Okay, it's just like this. Set. And the last one. Well, Samsung Pay is a bit different. For credit card or PayPal, there is one process needed for the user, and it's registrations. But in case of Samsung Pay, user doesn't really need to do the registration because it's already on your mobile phone, right? So let's see how it works. It's more simpler. User press to choose Samsung Pay, and when they agree, then notification will be sent to your mobile phone. If you choose, you will do fingerprint, if you choose to do it. And it's done. Like this. So those are the things that I prepared today. I hope that I have given you all the information necessary. Of course, if you are the developer, you may want to see more deeper guide, but I can tell you that you can go to the developer guide in the website, and that will provide you more details information. And if you want to know more about how to use a DPI portal, there we provide more guides in the DPI portal guide as well in the developer site. So I recommend you to have C, And if is there any questions? Okay, would you like to come to the microphone on here, the left side?
So I have 3 questions.
Right.
The first one is that when I put my card in the Samsung checkout, is it tokenized, or is it using the network token like the Visas or the MasterCards or others? That's one question.
Okay, so in checkout client on TV, we don't save anything, but it's tokenized, just like you said. And when we register the credit card information, for example, then it is tokenized and saved in our server. And we use every time because Samsung Checkout is working based on the Samsung account. So if you register your information, then it will belong to the Samsung account that you use on the smart TV.
Okay. And then the second question is, apart from the TV, which other Samsung devices is Samsung Checkout available?
Well, it's only for the Samsung Smart TV at this moment.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the third one is does it only support Tizen, or does it support other operating systems as well?
At this moment, we only use Tizen.
Tizen. So there is a possibility of making it work in refrigerator and other places?
Well,
if it runs Tizen.
It's something that I cannot tell you right now because it's a policy kind of thing.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Right. Is there any other questions? No? Okay. Okay.
Hey, I'm just curious, in the terms and conditions you referenced for the developers program, can you see those, like, where can I find those on the developer portal today, or is it part of the registration process? When do I get
You mean
to
the
go?
terms and conditions?
Yes.
Well, if you go to the seller side,
Yep.
Samsung seller office, then first thing they will ask you when you are registering your application is the terms and conditions. So you need to read it thoroughly because I said, they will have, the revenue share kind of information as well between you and Samsung. So yeah.
So it's all right when I go to the
Seller
sellers?
office, yes.
Yep. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. If you do not have a question, let's adjourn the session. Thank you for coming.